Today what we're going to talk about in this little session is a new direction that we're taking at Dynabrade. Part of our responsibility going out and visiting distribution is creating awareness that we have more to sell than a basic random orbital or a Dynafile or a belt tool. So we're trying to create an awareness so that everybody knows that we're more than that type of manufacturer and that we can provide a one-stop shop for a majority of product that you may be trying to source. So really our focus moving forward here is going to be putting an emphasis on selling that type of product. So as you can see, we have a wide range or a wide variety of product to offer. We have motors that are 4/10, 5/10, 7/10, 1 horsepower, 1.2, 1.3 horsepower. So it's a wide spectrum of product that's really available for you at any time. Okay. As we mentioned previously, we can deliver the product too. So we're looking at this type of product as an A item, so delivery times are 48 hours, 2 business days at the most. So it's something that we take a lot of pride in, and the fact that we can deliver it really is kind of important to us. So that's what we're going to kind of discuss. Moving into this type of product, when you look at, I guess, the generic sector, you're looking at a lot of product that runs 2, 3-inch product, 4-inch, 4.5-inch abrasives. We're going to start off basically with our simple 4/10 motor. All right, and what we've done is we've redesigned the current motor to a point where we take the straight tool, and we'll begin with this. So first of all, we are changing the design and the look of it. You can see the difference between the new look, which has got a black kind of housing, compared to the turquoise or teal look. All right, it's a more ergonomic feel, softer feel, warmer feel. So we've changed with the cosmetic look of the tool. So that's the first thing that we've done. We feel as though, if we're going to step into this market, we want to continue to provide a product that's the same quality that we're known for when it comes to the Dynafile and the orbital sander. Now, what we've done also on the external part of the tool is we've made it a little bit easier to identify the product. A lot of times when you used to walk into a facility on straight die grinders, it's hard to identify the tool by model number because you may have the model number and serial number kind of stamped on the outside edge of the tool. That's a high wear area. So over the course of time, you're going to be wearing that down. Next thing you know, you can't read, nothing's legible, so it's hard to identify it. Especially if you start getting into eliminating the RPMs of the tool. Nobody knows what the tool's running at. Now safety hazards can start to play in and be a factor there. So what we've done is we've taken that information and we've put it into a recessed area. It's right here underneath this safety lever. So that it's very difficult to take a look at that and see where it is, and it's very difficult to wear that away. It's going to be there for, for identification and an easier process. It's a lot easier just to look at the model number and say, hey, I need a new 48325, rather than running around and trying to source the tool and figure out what the model number of the tool is. Okay? So that's where it's being placed, in that type of recessed area. Another thing externally that we talked about, I just mentioned it briefly, was the safety lever. So all this product now will be designed and will leave the building with the safety lever compared to the old paddle lever that we had. All right. So that's kind of like the external differences or changes that we've made. Just as important, if not more important, is what we did internally. If you take a look in there and you see that little yellow piece of plastic or composite material, all right, it's a governor. Do you know what the purpose of a governor is? Okay, to control speed, maintain speed, all right, under load. So what we decided to do is to incorporate a governor into the new 4/10 design. Really critical when it comes to us expanding our offering. It's allowed us to now offer product that runs at as slow as 950 RPM, and we go all the way up to 30,000 RPM, all right? We actually go to 35,000, but that model number does not have a governor. That's with the motor full throttle, all right? So, but what it allows us to do is offer those various speeds so that the product or the tooling now becomes compatible with specific abrasives. If you got an abrasive that's rated at a certain speed, you don't want to overrun it, all right? Or if its best results are done at a slower speed, we can now put that slower speed tool and take that tool and match it up with the appropriate abrasive. So very important. Now you can see that there's a yellow one inside the tool, and I've got a red one here. They're color-coded based on speed. This doesn't mean that I can take the yellow one out and put the red one in, all right? Because this tool's already marked for a certain speed. If you start switching governors, you're starting to fool around with the rated speed, and again, you're creating safety issues. The reason why it's color-coded is so that when you do a repair, it's easy to identify. I'm taking a yellow one out, I need to put a yellow one in, all right? And if you look on the parts page, those part numbers and the color are listed jointly so that you know, it's pretty hard to confuse it, all right? So that's the main thing. And that's the number one, we hear this question all the time, you know, can you just replace it and change the speeds? No, okay? So just be aware of that. We also have changed the design of the rotor, all right? You can take a look at this and you see 3 slots on it, all right? The previous one had 4 slots. And what we did is we redesigned this for a couple reasons here. A 4-slotted rotor will give you a little bit more power under load, but we've taken care of that by incorporating the governor. We're not compromising ourselves or giving up power because we still can apply and get all the torque that we need under load because we've used the governor now, all right? What this allows us to do is reach that 35,000 RPM speed. Okay, with the 4 slots, we couldn't get that much speed. We were hitting the ceiling at around 30,000 RPM. A lot of carbide cutting tools, the faster you can get that spinning, the better it's going to cut, the more consistent it's going to cut. So that 35,000 RPM product will help us when it comes to selling a simple carbide burr, all right? We've also got into some cylinder changes. Now, we've talked a little bit about not lubricating tools. When you do not put oil into a tool, this is actually what happens to the cylinder. So you can see how a chunk of metal is just ripped right out. All right? And what happens there is because you do not put oil into your tool, there's more heat, more friction, and the blades start to wear thin. And then when those blades get to a point where they can't handle the stress, they end up jamming and fracturing, and the motor seizes. But what happens is this becomes warm, so it builds up heat, and the metal becomes just a little bit softer because of that heat buildup. And when that blade jams, it pops, and it'll take a chunk of steel or metal right with it. So what we've done is we've changed the metallurgy of the product, and we've reinforced it in certain areas where there's more consistency, and it's going to be able to obviously withstand this a little bit better than in the past. But it's still critical to make sure that you're, you know, putting oil into your tooling. And we, again, just want to make sure that the quality of the product is synonymous with, you know, our name and with the product that we've offered in the past.